What's up guys, Garrett here with Self.dev. Today we are going to go over Adobe XD for devs. So I've got one of the XD files that our designers give us to build the website based off of pulled up here. And we're basically just going to go through what I would do to get the information I need to build the website based off of this. First off, we've got a few quick tips for you. If you hold down the control key and use the mouse wheel, that lets you zoom in and out. If you press down on the mouse wheel, that grabs the screen and you can pan around. So just two quick navigation tips there that help out a lot. The zoom tool they have is kind of shit. I don't even know how to zoom out on this actually, unless I'm using the control key. So there's that. And then we're gonna go straight into it. So the main thing you're concerned about is this right side of the bar here. There is this assets tab on the left that'll give you like the hex value for all the colors, but I prefer to kind of grab the colors as I need them. So first thing you got here on the right, you don't have to worry about this top bar. That's gonna be more for designers. So is this little repeat grid section. What we care about maybe is the width and the height right here. So if we click on this blue box, it's saying the width is 968 pixels, the height is 465 pixels. I usually don't use exact width and height though. I usually go for the padding to get that right. So our designers are really picky about the vertical padding. So if we click on, zoom in here, let's click on the text here, and we want to get the padding from this text to the top of the box. So we'll hold down the Alt key, and that will show us the padding on all four sides of that box. So there's probably a little bit of extra padding between the text and the top of the box here, and it's saying from the top of the box to the top of this blue thing's 92. So I'd probably use about 100 pixels padding on the top. And it's going to change based on where you're hovering. So if we hover over this red box, it's going to show us the padding from a relationship container to where this red box is behind it. If we hover over that box, it's going to show us the padding for the whole document. And then we can do the same thing on the bottom. So we'll just grab that text, hold down Alt, and it shows us there's 93 pixels of padding on the bottom. So for this box, I'd probably have all this text in a div, and I'd do 100 pixels, 0, 93, 0 for the padding. You also aren't gonna really need to worry about the responsive resize. That's gonna be more for designers too, so don't have to worry about that part. And then we have the little text area here. First thing, you got your font family. So this is saying it's open sans for this paragraph. And we have the font size. That's gonna be, it's changing because apparently you can click it and drag up and down and it changes the font size. I was not aware of that. Oh God, make it 18 pixels again. Okay, so yeah, this was saying it's 18 pixels. And then the font weight is regular, which is 400. Up next, we have the character spacing here. That, from my experience, that isn't pixel perfect. So I usually just eyeball the letter spacing. Then we have the line spacing. That one is pretty close. So for this, the line height I would use is 26 pixels. And then you have the paragraph spacing, which I usually don't ever worry about because if it's separate paragraphs, then that's something I fix with the padding. Then you have your left align, centered, right align. You don't really have to worry about this section for developers. So last section we got here is the appearance. So you have the opacity right here. This is pretty much perfect. Perfectly converts to CSS. So like if it's 100% right here, that'd just be opacity as 1. If it is 50, it'd be opacity as 0.5, and so on depending on where it's at. And then you have your fill color. So let's say I need the gradient off of this blue square right here. I just select the blue square, rectangle, whatever. Click on the color, and it has the gradient. So over here on the left, you can see I have the circle's lighter. So that's the color I have selected. And the circle's lighter right here. So this is, it starts at the top, and the gradient goes to the bottom. And then on the right, you click on this other dot, you get the other end of the gradient spectrum. And you can see I've got the bottom color selected here. Now right here you got your hex value. If you want the hex value, you can change that to RGB if you want the RGB value. And then you have your HSB, which I guess it's like hue, shade, brightness, right? I never use that one, but that's there too if you need it. After that, you got your border. So let's say they have a black border, or there's some shape with a border that you need. I don't see any shapes that have a border that I'd need here. So actually, I guess the form down at the bottom here. Yeah, So right here, border is white, and it is 1.5 pixels wide. So for this, I'd do border solid 1.5 FFFFFFF to get the color. After that, you got your border. Actually, we missed border radius up here. So for this one, obviously you got 0 border radius here, 0 on the top right. Down here, there's some border radius, and in the bottom left, there's 0 border radius. So over here, you can see 0, 0, 90, 0. So for the border radius, you just do 0, 0, 90, 0. And then you should get a shape that looks pretty much exactly like this, as far as the border radius goes. Then we've got the box shadow. So it might be kind of hard to see on this one, but there's a little shadow behind this box. And this converts like pretty much exactly to pixels. So right here, you've got your x-axis, so 30 pixels. You got your y-axis, 40 pixels, and then you've got your blur radius, which would be 60 pixels. And if you click on the shadow, you can get the hex value of the shadow. So this one's straight up black, and then the opacity is 30%. So opacity would be 0.3. And I just turned it off. There we go. That is it for the appearance section. So now we're gonna talk about how to export images. So let's say I need this image right here. I'd probably export it with the curve already there, because it's just easier. I don't wanna have to deal with that border radius. So what you do, you can just select it here, go to the 3 lines, go to export, go to selected, and then export it this way. Shortcut, if you just click the image, press Control, and then E as in echo, brings up the export menu. So first thing here is PNG, so you can export it just as a standard PNG. Then you've got SVGs if you want an element as an SVG, like these right here. I would probably export as an SVG. And then I'd do the embed, and that'll just give you the straight SVG code. Never really use PDF or JPEG, because JPEG doesn't have the transparent backgrounds, and I like the transparent backgrounds because we want to match the XD file. You've also got web here. This will give you the standard export and then like a higher resolution export. I usually do the 2x resolution, because it'll give you like a higher quality picture. The size is going to be bigger, so you might have to adjust the size a little bit on the screen. And then make sure you go to like tiny PNG. That'll compress whatever file you're exporting there. Remove any kind of metadata and just make the file smaller for you. Never really use iOS or Android, so not too sure what those are. I usually just stick with the web and then these right here. So another little trick, if you want to export multiple things at once, like so let's say I grab this element and this one, hold down Shift, click that one, and then I can click Control E, and it'll export both of those in 2 separate files for me. Now this background image here, the image has a really low opacity, and then there's this red behind it. So the way I could get that is if I just draw a square over those. So I'll left click here, draw a square, hit Control G to group those elements, and now they're grouped together. And then I can do the Control E to export it, and then I have that red background here with the image. Now, just a couple quick little hacks. Because Adobe XD doesn't have a way you can directly crop images, but there is a little trick. So if you grab the square rectangle over here, you're not gonna have to mess with these too much. That's more for the designer. But if you grab the square, let's say you just want this guy's face, right? We're cutting off his nose there. So we draw a square over his face, go back to the selector tool, and then we would select both of these, click on the square, hold down Shift, click on the background image, and then we'll right click, click mask with shape, and that'll give us just his face. Now it is way easier just to export the image. I mean, it's not way easier, it's way more, you can be way more exact if you export the image and then open it up in Photoshop. If you don't need to be too exact, that's a quick little hack to get it out there fast for you. Another thing, this shape is masked, so you've got the whole picture, but then you've only got this one little semicircle mask that's displaying the picture. So there's not a way to undo that. So I'd kind of have to export it with that semicircle, But here's a little hack for you. So you grab that square again, just draw a blank square down here. Go back to our selector, grab that shape. We're gonna copy it with Control C, paste it with Control V, and then drag it down here. And we can make this bigger. We're gonna make this take up the whole page pretty much. And we're gonna double click in here and we can shrink this image. So we're selecting different layers here. And then we can get the whole square. We'll turn off the box shadow because I usually like putting the box shadow on with CSS. And then we'll just Control E to export, and we've got our shape there. Now it is gonna be there's probably gonna be a bunch of white space on the top, on the sides, on the bottom here, so you'll probably wanna open it up in Photoshop and crop that off so you just have this square image. But that's a little hack to get the images out of the mask if they're masked. I don't know why Adobe hasn't added something to where you can unmask shapes yet, but as far as I know, there's not a way. If there is, let me know in the comments below and I will love you forever, because that is a problem most of the time. So I think that is about it. One more thing, the missing fonts over here. So let's say you load an XD file and you've got some missing fonts like Source Sans Pro. All you have to do is go to Google, go to Google Fonts. We've got Source Sans Pro pulled up here. Select the font family, download. It should give you the zip file here. And then we've got all the fonts here. So we want to pull the fonts we want out of the zip. So we want Pro Black. And then we've got Source Sans Pro, well, we got bold right here. So we're going to use that one. Do I need bold? I do, cool. And then you just double click on install. And then you've got Source Sans Pro installed. And you can see Source Sans Pro bold is gone over here. And I have that font installed. Now, if you don't have fonts installed, it can make some of these fonts look different. It can throw off your design a little bit. So I'd recommend first thing, when you get the XD file, if you're missing fonts, go install the fonts you're missing. You can also go to Adobe and download fonts like Helvetica Nueve, or Nui, however you say that font name. That's not a Google font. So I'd go to Adobe Fonts, and with your Creative Cloud subscription, you should be able to download the font and install it. Most of the other stuff would just be for designers. So one last thing here, this play button, we click on that, it'll bring up how the website should look in a browser if the browser is at 1366 pixels, roughly. So this is what it should look like in the browser, and our designer knows how to do, he does this effect where the background image moves whenever he wants a parallax image. So I know how to do a parallax image there. One other last tip, keep thinking of more stuff for you guys. This is what we do to compare the XD file to the PSD for the designer. Obviously they're gonna pull it up on the website and take a look, but this is just give them a snapshot. So on the left here, you've got the XD file, and then on the right, you have a screenshot I took of the web page. I use a plugin called Full Page Screen Capture. I'll have a link to that in the description if you want to download it, but that'll take a picture of the whole page like this. And you can kind of pretty easily compare it to the XD file. The fonts are going to be a little off because the picture is not going to scale based on how far zoomed in you are, whereas Adobe's fonts are going to scale based on how far zoomed in you are. But it's a pretty easy way to compare it to the XD file and make sure it's pretty much pixel perfect. But yeah, I think that's about it. So if you have any questions or any other helpful tips on XD that I am not aware of, let me know in the comments below. We'll greatly appreciate that. If you want to come hang out in the Discord, we've got a Discord link in the description. If you want practice with XD, I make projects every month for front-end developers. This month we are doing we're tapping into the Poke API and making a Pokedex. So that one's gonna be fun. Come join the Discord if you want that free monthly project. It's gonna change next month, so it might not be the same thing if you're watching this in the future. I also do resume reviews and portfolio reviews, so send me your email/portfolio if you want me to check that out and give you some feedback on it. If you send me your resume or portfolio, I'm assuming that I can show all of your information on Google. But yeah, I think that's about it. So I will see you next time. Peace.
Round 1.